For this session, I'm serving on the Health Committee, the Education Committee, the Gaming Oversight Committee, and the State Government Committee. I'm also the chair of the House Cystic Fibrosis Caucus and the House YMCA Caucus, as well as I serve on the Speaker's Select Equal Opportunity Advisory Committee. Speaker Turzai made a decision to staff and fill the Equal Opportunity Advisory Committee that had been established many sessions ago by a prior speaker. It had never been made operational, and the speaker felt that it was really important that we move forward and work on some of these very significant issues. The focus of that committee up to this point has really been looking at our procurement and employment practices, and there's a sense that people here in the Capitol receive employment opportunities by who they know, not what their qualifications are or their abilities, skills, and talents. And I certainly feel that employment here in the Capitol should be predicated on your abilities, your skills, and your talents. Taxpayers pay a lot of money to employ people to work in this building, and they deserve to have the very best. So that has been probably the biggest area of the committee's work. People are just really concerned, I think, overall with how much government is spending. They want their government to be more efficient, more effective. They also are looking for us to manage our expenses like every other business and household in York County has had to do. So, in everything that we're doing, we're looking at ways to manage government, measure what we're doing, and making sure that it's accountable to the people who are paying the bills. We have a property tax problem in York County. And we can see the numbers. And I think there's a direct correlation between the hold harmless provision in the state school funding formula and the exponential and increasing spending that we've had with our pensions. Those two things have really exacerbated the problem in York County. So there are many people in the Capitol who have staked out their areas of expertise and are shepherding great pieces of legislation and trying to get them passed. And when I arrived here as a freshman, I was looking for an area that I could help solve this problem, recognizing that many people had already put forward pieces of legislation to reform or eliminate property taxes. Having served as a school board director, knowing that our school districts have spending problems and that much of what drives our school spending problems comes from the state, that's really the area of expertise that I had and where I've looked to pass legislation. So in this coming session, we will be back with bills to eliminate mandates, allow school districts to waive mandates, the same ability that they had under the Rendell administration. We're going to look at things like fixing teacher certification. Teacher certifications have been really narrowed. It's taken away the flexibility of the school district to staff appropriately. It's also made it difficult on teachers to move to positions that their school district needs them to fill. So we're looking at a lot of those kind of cost-saving measures. Additionally, I've been partnering with Senator Fulmer in the Senate to start repealing regulations that no longer make sense. Just a simple example, in the school code, school districts of the fourth class are still permitted to purchase homes for their superintendents, teachers, and janitors. I don't think anyone thinks that's a really good idea today. So regulations that don't make sense in the school code any longer, we're looking to eliminate. One of the big promises that was made by the legislature many years ago, long before my tenure, was that we were going to implement gaming and tax that gaming to provide property tax relief to Pennsylvanians. And so what happened was they passed slots. In that revenue from slots went to property tax relief. And if you get your property tax bill at home in York County, you'll see the homestead exemption, and that's the money that comes from slots. It's very, very minimal. It's about $122 on my tax bill. So it was a great promise, but then they passed table games, and that revenue, instead of going into property tax relief, went into the general fund. So I have a piece of legislation that simply would try to keep the promise, and that would be that with any new gaming revenue that comes into the state, and they're talking about things like iGaming and video gaming terminals and different types of gaming, that any of that revenue that the state receives goes to fulfill the promise of property tax relief to people across the Commonwealth.